Welcome to my shop. This is Jim, Saw Logs Plastic Hubs. Hope you enjoyed today's video. We're working on a project. Come along, have fun. Have you ever heard the old saying, a project begates another project? Well, one of the things, let me move you over here, is you notice things sometimes while you're working on stuff. And one of the things that I run into here lately that I really just didn't think that much about is the fact of the matter that I'm just not satisfied with the wrenches that I have to work on my compound with. So what I decided I was going to do, see if I could do a little bit of solution to the problem. So I dug around in my toolbox and found an old impact socket of the right metric vintage, because the problem is, let me get my flat wrench I've been using, is I had a wrench and I tried to cut some of the back off, and I was kind of, let me move you over here, I was just facing that off there a second. See, let me get a little closer view here. See, that's sort of how, so that you really can't get a hold of it good to keep it, what I feel like, tightened properly. But you can't put, you don't have enough room to put a full wrench in the back. So what I've done is I've done a little searching and found that this is an inexpensive flea market special, just a metric socket. And what I want to do with this is basically saw all this off and tack it on there with the welder, so when I get ready to tighten and loosen my compound, I'll have something that I don't just round the bolts off with. So this one comes in and out pretty good. So that's what I'm going to do right here, right quick to start with. You see, there's the socket. What I've done is tuck it over to the saw and sawed it off. Apologize, people. I'm going to remind you, I'm not a welder. This is a socket, and right here is the wrench, and I'm going to actually kind of tack it like that, just sort of tack it to the wrench and get the welder out. But see, what I've done is just put it in my vise here and clamped it just like this. Well, see how now I knocked it loose a little bit. Just use a spring clamp or something to kind of get me a hold kind of where I want it. Then I can tack it, and then we can weld it really good and fast. I mean, this ain't gonna have a lot of pressure on it. So again, these are inexpensive. This is actually a cheap wrench, so that's just the idea. Just, not try to burn. Usually if I make tools like this, I usually go pick up a wrench or something. Now this is a case, this is a socket. This is a cheap one, and it's a 14 millimeter. It was in the flea market. It's an old impact. I mean, the qualities is out there, but again, we're not going to wrench on this to make a living. So here we go. Folks, I don't show much welding videos. There's a reason I'm not a welder. So don't laugh. It's like I got the socket too there, but I needed to get close. So that's why you have old stuff you work with sometimes. Well, so now I've tacked it. So now I can finish, just lay it here, sort of across here, and finish welding it up on that side and turn it over and get it. Like I say, I'm not a welder, so don't judge me. So there's plenty of welders on YouTube, but not me. So it's together. I'll kind of clean this up and we'll go try it out. But like I said, it's the first time I've shot welding on YouTube. And I'm going to, like I remind everyone, I'm not a welder. Alright, see now why I wanted to do this. See, you don't have enough room for a conventional end wrench. So now I can kind of get a good, decent tightening on there when I change this around. A point of note about how I run my lathe and how I do things. And my point is, you very seldom, and I'll be honest, the only time I move my compound is pretty much when I do these tapers and use it for that. The rest of the time on my lathe, the compound stays at 30 degrees. I was taught how to machine that way on lathes, so when you go to threads you don't have to deal with it. The other thing that I did yesterday is I got tired of using adjustable to move this when I do move the compound. I do not move my tool post around like some people do. I'm using, basically the tools I'm using is two directional, and I don't know. I guess I'll phrase it to you this way. That particular tool is in my lathe right now that you see that's in there. There's millions and millions and millions of parts turned with them in a lathe, CNC type lathes, multi-directional, without them bolted this dead square like that. In a lot more severe conditions than I'm going to put this insert or tool into. So, in my humble opinion, your mileage may vary, but in my personal humble opinion, the idea of moving this thing around to take different directions of cut is more trouble than it's actually worth. Again, I'm not criticizing what other people do. Notice my comment, your mileage may vary. So, what I've done is I went, this is actually a 1-inch, but it's actually a 25 millimeter. And I went to, this one come from AutoZone. I like going to AutoZone because I can pick the wrenches up myself. And I sawed the end off, and I don't want to leave it on there, so it will hang right here. So now I can hang both of these wrenches right here together. I would really like to hang it over here where this one gets nasty, but it don't matter. You can wipe. See, these hooks will not let me turn these wrenches. So my hook, I may have to end up hanging it over here with the, like this on this hook. See, now I've got, let me show you, I just hung them over there. So now they're hung up back. Let me get a little higher and back the tape, back it off here a little other way. So now I've hung them on my lathe. This is for tightening and loosening the tool post. Right there is tightening and loosening the compound. I keep my collet wrench right there, and it sort of gets nasty there, but I'd clean it off. But that's just the thing. I store stuff like that on my lathes. It's for hand, just for convenience sake, so I don't have to go hunting for it. And if you've noticed on my lathe too, let me just kind of come back. I got a lot of eye bolts bolted to my lathe. Chuck key, my files and whatnot hang like that, so I can just reach down and get them. I still got stuff in my bed which is problematic. I need to figure out a way to do some other stuff. This almost needs to be hung in something like that too, because you use these to get a hold of chips. I really don't like stuff up on the bed. This mill handle, I had it off because I was using the lacquerette. And my mill, my lathe, a lot of times my mill table, and I'll come back a bit and I'll digress on a little bit, sound like I'm running my mouth. If you'll notice my mill, let me see if I'm back as far as I can. Let me pull you back a bit. Okay, my mill table, you see how close they are. So a lot of times I'm working on a lathe, my mill table kind of is my place to set stuff. probably not the best thing in the world, but it's just the way I've kind of gotten used to working here in the shop. So I'm going to work on some other stuff today. I don't know, I'm kind of debating I probably want to cut some more tapers. So I'm not sure where I want to make me a tool to cut for that drill driver. I run into using an Allen wrench yesterday, just didn't get it. Outside today, I just put I've got the stove, the toaster oven outside, so it's getting hot so we can heat finish those 2 parts I made yesterday. Okay, and I'll bring you back and I'll figure out what I'm going to do next. Okay, I like about 80 thousandths to get to where I want to be. I went ahead and speeded it back up to get a little better finish. That should give me, you know, this is not an exact. This is just to get me close. So what this is going to do is let me slide this into the compound. So the idea is we're going to go in once we get the size that we want. And I apologize for yesterday. This is a Kennametal insert. I got to looking at it when I indexed it yesterday. And okay, so that's right at 600 thousandths, which is good. That should just slide right in the highest part. I'm going to feed this in by hand, right up against the stock. Come out here, just try to take close. There we go. Now, outside OD is kind of what I'm looking for here. We're just going to take a piece of sandpaper. And we're just going to hit this, knock this surface rust off. This is actually an old belt. It's not really sand. This is a real coarse belt I had bought at Harbor Freight thinking it would fit my belt sander, and it don't. So that gives me a nice slick finish here. So we're going to go in here, we're going to cut the chamfers, and then we're going to figure out what kind of, how I'm going to hold this, and then we'll go from there. I'll take the work stop loose so I can go in here and break these corners. I'll bring you back and I'll figure out what I'm going to put in the center of it. Alright, we're just drilling. We're going to tap this for a 5/16 course thread. I just happen to have a bolt. What we'll probably do with this, instead of welding it, we're going to screw a bolt in it and Loctite it. Permanent Loctite so it won't move. I'm going to drill this fairly deep. Before I tap it. Alright, let me get my tap. I'm going to hand tap this. Alright, off camera I used the cut-off tool and I cut this off. And basically what I've done is I just used like I said, I went in the cutoff tool and went in as deep as I dared because this is just a lot to cut off. And now I'm going to chew all this up. And this is the piece that's actually going to drive up in here. And we're going to go off to the mill today here. I'm going to turn the RPM up in just a second. and true it up good, put a little nicer finish on it. Right now I'm just hogging off the material, and I'm going to come out here and I'm going to go in with just a smidgen, and we're going to go back to our normal 600, which would be right there. And we're going to take a little old light facing cut down this. Like I said, I hogged this off. What I done is I done it off camera because I had to have 3 hands. I couldn't pay attention to the camera, but basically I just put it in my normal slow speed. Just went off down in there and kept it flooded up with cutting oil. Just worked with it really slow. Went to the depth of my cut-off blade, and this is actually going to be the back side of the part. What you're seeing that I'm facing off here, this is going to be the piece you see. This, where that little step is actually going to be what runs up inside the compound. So what I'm going to do is I've got basically a 5/16 inch bolt, and we're going to thread that 5/16 inch bolt in it eventually and Loctite it. And right now we may use it to center up on the mill. So let me keep that working. Grab the Devo tool. Alright, that much of the lathe work is done. What we did is put this bolt in it and used the bolt basically to put everything in the vise the way we wanted it. So now I have my parts centered in the vise, and I just lowered it actually down in there and clamped it. So now all I got to do is I already know kind of where I want the bolt circle to be. So I've already got that figured out, because I want basically a 2-inch bolt circle. So basically I need half of that to the center. 4 divided by 2. So I need to go from each side of this 1 inch 2/1000. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to center drill them, and I'm going to drill these a little bigger because they got to fit over it's actually kind of tapered. So the plan here is, let me get a pair of pliers, take that screw out with. That's just a 5/16 bolt, by the way. Just a standard hardware store 5/16 inch bolt that you find in any local hardware. And it was in my drawer. I just pulled it out because I'm going to use it for this is what the drill will drive into. Okay, so now that I have everything set at 0, 0, I can go in my y-axis 1 inch 2/1000. O2, no 1 inch 20/1000, excuse me. And then I will be right here, and then I can drill it. So I'm going to go ahead and give me some height and turn the spindle on. I think I'm in. I ain't got my drill center. The center drill ain't centering good. going to roll down here. We're going to center drill it. Okay. Now I'm going to figure out, I got to figure out what size drill I need for these. Then I'm going to sloppy them a little bit to give us some room. So basically if I put 1/2 inch drills in this, it'll work. I mean it's going to be sloppy either way it goes because of the, it's like 450. So this way I have a little bit of a lead room here to work with. I may have to get my other tool out. Excuse me, I'll bring you right back. Coming back. So what I've done is I double checked it. So it's 470 thousandths is the size of the hole. That's 475 thousandths is the size of the pin on one side. I'll check both of them. So I'm thinking they're the same. You would know, yeah. So I mean they taper down, so there's going to be some slack. Now I want to slide over the pin, so we're going to more or less drill 2 holes. This is a little FAST for my liking. I'm going to live with it because I don't want to change it. I'm going to tell you something. That drill's dull. I got to do something. Excuse me just a few minutes. Alright, that's the first time that Chinese set let me down. That ain't going to work. That ain't going to slow me up. As I thought, that's a national twist drill. And it come out of some of my spares. So there's the 1/2 inch hole. Now we just move the DRO to the -1 inch 20 thousandths number. And then we go back in and we'll center drill it again. Then we'll put another 1/2 inch hole in the thing. Then we'll go over here and see if it fits. So we got to do any massaging. See if all my calculations are right. See if Mr. Bozo visited or not. If you don't have one of them drill powered knee lifts or some sort of a knee lift, you need one. Now how many times I repeated that? Battery's getting dead, getting weak. I have to change it. That's not one of those good what you call. This is an older drills that don't have the lithium or not the the newer batteries. They just run die. These they just sort of like an old car battery. They just sort of discharge. Alright, we'll try Mr. National Twist Drill and see how he does. I may end up coming back and re-drilling these, but I tried to figure a little slop in them. We'll go see what the fit looks like. Like I say, projects begate projects. And all this needed to do, and this fits because I tried it, slides. So you see what that's going to do. We'll screw the screw in it, lock tight the screw, and that's what that's for. So once that screw's in here like this, then the drill will be able just to run right in there and drill it. I'm going to see how far in I need to put it. Let me grab my drill. Okay, the screw's not locked in yet, so once I lock the screw in, let me get this in place. You see, this is how this is going to work. So what that's going to give me is a good solid drive right there. So that's going to do what I want it to do. We'll probably try to, I don't know where to clean this up and Loctite it or go ahead and tack it with a shot of weld. One of the two is going to happen. Probably I'll try the green Loctite it first because I just don't really like welding as much as I, and stuff unless I have to. If it causes a problem, I'll go back. If I have a nut, I might go ahead and just screw a nut on it. It's a jam too. So we'll see. The old saying, like I said, projects beget projects. See, that gives me enough room. There's a little slack, and see, let me kind of shoot you over here to the side and let you see kind of what I've done on this side. It's basically, see, that just slides up on this and sort of floats. And that way, that drill will drive at just as neat as you can get it. This gives a good drive with the drill. So this tool will come in handy in the shop. I'm tell you what, I'm just going to throw Dicom on this and let it dry and pop it in the drawer because I done Loctited it. So that's what I'm going to do for this, and it'll be down there in the drawer where the drawer's down below my lathe, and that's another, like I say, projects beget projects. I'll grab some Dicom and cover it.